Hi, my name is David Aguilar and I'm a tech engineer on the data center routing and switching tech team. In this video, I show you how to install operate on Nxos switches in vPC with Nxos. Suppose you are the network administrator of a data center where there are two Nexus 9Ks. Both Nexus switches have Nxos 9.3.11 and the goal is operate both Nexus switches to Nxos 10.2.5. The first question you may ask yourself could be, should I start by operating the primary or secondary operational in vPC? The answer is, starting with the primary switch or the secondary switch doesn't yield any functional distinction. Nevertheless, initiating with the primary switch guarantees that both devices will return to their initially configured primary and secondary roles, although it is important to know some of the functions of the Nexus as operationally primary in vPC. Here are 5 tasks of the primary operational Nexus to be aware of. Answer app requests even when first hop redundancy protocols. Processes bridge protocol data units. Forwards P multicast traffic. Process and send control plane packets of IGMP. Not shut down of VPC member ports when peerling down. Next, I will show you the methodology to operate two Nexus switches in VPC from NXOS 9.3.11 to 10.2.5 based on a hypothetical scenario. Step 1 is download the Nxos files for depending on the line code. For this, open server.cisco.com and log in. Go to section Download and Operate and open Access Downloads. Click on Browse All, Cisco iOS and Nxos software, Nxos, Nxos software, switches, data center switches, select Nexus series, in my case Nexus 9000 series switches, and finally select the line code. Open Nxos system software. Select the Nxos version. Move the cursor over the file name to display this window and copy the MD5 checksum value. Download the Nxos file. Step 2 is transfer Nxos files to boot flash on both Nexus switches in vPC via SCP, SFTP, TFTP, or USB. On the right side of the screen is an example using an SFTP server. If one of the first 3 options is selected, verify that there is a ping to the server by specifying the expected BRF. The parameters to be entered are underlined in yellow. Once the file transfer is complete, verify Nxos file is in boot flash with command dir. Next, get value of MD5 checksum from Nxos file with command show file boot flash. Finally, compare this value with one of the copy from server.cisco.com. This must match, otherwise Nxos file is corrupted or not legit. Step 3 is identify operational role in vPC for each Nexus switch. Use the command show vPC role. In my hypothetical scenario, Nexus 9K1 is primary and Nexus 9K2 is secondary. Step 4 is verify incompatibility for NXOS on both Nexus switches in vPC. Use the command show on the screen. Sometimes there are settings or features that need to be removed before upgrading or downgrading. Step 5 is verify the impact of Nxos installation on both Nexus switches in vPC. Use the command show install all impact Nxos boot flash. This won't start operate. This will execute a preliminary diagnosis to validate that the version of Nxos is compatible and that the installation can be done. Step 6 is optional but highly recommended. Export a backup running configuration from both Nexus switches in vPC. Use USB, SFTP, FTP, or SCP. On the right side of the screen is an example using a SFTP server. The parameters to be entered are underlined in yellow. Step 7 is to install Nxos on Nexus switch with vPC primary rule. Use the command install all Nxos boot flash. It should read success without any error. At the end, just accept the installation. The Nexus will reboot and the installation process may take several minutes. This can vary on each Nexus switch. Step 8 is once access to the Nexus is recovered, wait for the status to be active of the Nexus switch. Please notice it's possible that the VPC keep alive and or peeling may not be an up state. This is expected since Nexus switches in VPC have different versions of NXOS, which is unsupported. Just continue with next step. Step 9 is install NXOS on VPC peering Nexus switch. Step 10 is once access to the Nexus recovered, wait for the status to be active of the Nexus switch. Step 11 is verify keep alive peeling and VPC port channels are in up state. In order to troubleshoot vPC keep alive, use as initial approach the commands show vPC pure keep alive and show vPC statistics per keep alive. Notice vPC keep alive status says pure is not reachable through pure keep alive. This means either Nexus 9K1 or Nexus 9K2 can reach vPC pure using keep alive configuration. In this scenario, Nexus 9K2 has as pure keep alive destination IP address 1088.244.100. This is incorrect since Nexus 9K1 has IP address 1088.244.85. After this is changed, last upgrade from peer should constantly refresh. In fact, every 1000 milliseconds, since this is a keep alive interval. Also, pure keep alive TX and RX count should increase. The troubleshooting process for VPC peeling is significantly different since peeling is down status can be associated to multiple factors such as layer 1 problems, such as fiber damage causing link not connected status or even interface administratively down. Layer 2 problems such as no LACPD is received. Even some problem in Cisco Fabric Services CPU packet processing. Finally, to troubleshoot VPC port channels, use the first command show VPC. In my case, VPC port channel 50 is down. The reason? Compatibility check failed for interface admin port mode. In order to get more details, use the command show VPC consistency parameters interface port channel 50. Remember, layer 1 and layer 2 configuration must be identical on both Nexus switches for any VPC port channel to be functional. Notice, in local value column for port mode is access, and p-value, which is Nexus 9K1, is trunk. Also, there is a second problem. On Nexus 9K1 is allowed below 100, which is not on Nexus 9K2. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact Cisco Tech.